I'm back from Beccascreations. Welcome back to a brand new video, guys, and today I'm going to be entering my entry into the Sparks Challenge number 2. I did the wedding challenge and you guys really enjoyed it, so I'm back with another attempt, and this theme is Golden Days, and I'm doing the building challenge. The reason why I didn't do the create a sim one, even though my sim looks really cool, is because I literally always use custom content, and even if I tried to enter in as a character, I just wouldn't be able to okay, look, the makeup is really not as good in the game compared to the custom content stuff, so I just wouldn't be able to make it look as cool, so that's my reasoning. Anyway, my sim that I'm using is Veronica. She's giving me the house. She's giving me the sim this house is for, which is why I showed you what she looks like in the beginning, so you guys can kind of imagine her in the house. And Veronica is a bit gloomy, a bit lonely, and she doesn't have many friends, but I thought making her like a big house would kind of compensate for that factor, so she doesn't have many people, by the way, she doesn't have many people to talk to, she doesn't have a very big family, she doesn't have a love interest, but what she does have is a love for cats. My sim doesn't actually have any cats yet, because she's like, I don't know, I was going to say she's like kind of poor, but she's not, she's a huge ass house, maybe she just hasn't got around to it, I don't know. But she doesn't have any cats, but she does have, however, a passion for collecting cat collectibles. So she has like a cat's tattoo on her arm. She has cat ornaments all around the house. She's like a bit of a cat person, but it's like a twist on the cat lady trope that goes around. There's ever been like this cute nanny little cottage with loads of cats on her own. I've taken like a twist on that idea, so it's like a loner granny, nanny, auntie, I don't know, who loves cats, but she's also kind of like an emo goth person, so I kind of love that combo. It's so weird. It's just like a weird combo, crazy cat lady and goth nanny. So you got like a cool nanny and like a cat nanny. But I'm not gonna lie, I think I managed to pull that off. It's a really weird idea, but I think it came out quite nicely. So I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of take on that, on a combination of two ideas together. I thought it was pretty fun. That's kind of the idea I took with in making my house, because obviously my sim is a bit of a loner. She doesn't know many people. She's a goth person. She has tons of cats. She lives in like a Victorian goth themed looking house. So she's kind of a bit of a lonely person. So I was like, how do I bring in this cat personality and this like gloomy personality together? It was very difficult actually, but I managed to find a design which I think worked quite nicely. And basically the way how I brought across the cat sort of theme was I just basically just plonked a bunch of cat stuff everywhere. I was like, you know what? This is how I'm going to go for that. And then for the rest of the house just went super goth. Now before I explain any more about her, I need to actually announce the rules for you guys first. I've actually gone through what you have to do. So the idea is for this challenge is you have to create an elder sim to live out their golden life. So you can either create a sim or you can create her home. And it has to be a residential lot, and you have to have a room to convey a unique hobby or activity that your elder sim does. And you have to be like original. And obviously you can also do a storyteller thing as well. Obviously I read out the instructions for builder because that's the one mine is. So there you go. That's so you guys know what this build is kind of going off, like what the instructions are and stuff. So let me just get that out of the way before I carry on, because else I'm going to blunder off for ages. Anyway, so another thing I wanted to talk about with Veronica is that also, you know how I mentioned in the criteria you have to have a room based on the character's hobby? I found that part really hard because I wanted it to be like a writer, but then it said like unique hobby, and I'm like, well, that's like kind of difficult because I've gone for kind of like a normal-ish granny sort of vibe. I haven't gone for like anything eccentric, so I'm not sure how to bring across that unique vibe. And I still wanted it to be a writer, so I really wanted this house to feel like a writer sort of place, because that's kind of our aspiration, because this is one of our aspirations. The reason why I chose writer as well is because Veronica, I think she's like that sort of person that has always had this ambition to be like a famous author, but she's never quite, got there. But even now when she's an elder, she's still writing these books and hoping someday she'll get noticed. And maybe just now this will be the time when she actually does get noticed. It's just a really cool sort of thing where like she's always wanted to be like an author. She's never quite got there, but maybe someday she will. And she's obviously in her olden days now, and she still hasn't made it. That's kind of the sad thing about it. But my hope is that she will be able to become a famous author before she dies, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of her sort of thing. But then I was like, that's still kind of really normal. So I can't, because it says you have to do a whole room for their hobby, and I was like, so I wanted to be an author, but she isn't like a well-known author. She hasn't really got very far. But then that's just like, her hobby room must be books, won't it? So I was like, not sure what to do with that. So I gave her a unique hobby as well as her main hobby. So she's an author, she loves writing, she loves reading books, but she's also an excessive cat collector, in that she collects tons of cat ornaments. I've already mentioned about a cat obsession earlier, but I thought, why don't I integrate that into her hobby? So I literally made it in the house that she, like, when I was making a house upstairs in the hobby room, I literally just made rows and rows of shelves of cats, and I was like, here you go, this is a hobby. So that's a desk for writing, that's the normal hobby, and here are her rows and rows and rows of cats everywhere. And I was like, you know what? I kind of love this idea. So I've kind of given her 2 hobbies, not sure if that's cheating, but I just couldn't decide on one, because like, I don't really know, because she's just kind of a really unique sim, and I feel like if I changed her hobby, I won't be able to keep that sort of goth vibe. So if I changed her into like a surfer granny or something, then how's a surfer granny gonna fit with like a Victorian goth vibe? It's really difficult. And obviously the writing sort of hobby is kind of the only one that kind of fits in this vibe mostly, which is why I stuck with that in the first place. But I saw that unique bit and like bold writing, I was like, oh, how much bring uniqueness to this hobby? So that's where I thought of the crazy cat lady collector thing as well. Then I was like, you know what, let's just combine the 2 of this together. So I now have a crazy cat lady collector, Veronica, and I also have the sort of dark gloomy writing side of Veronica, and I just put them both together. So that's how I feel about the beginning, where I'm trying to mesh up like 2 tropes together. So yeah, there you go. I feel like I kind of over-confused my explanation of this house halfway through that, but I tried my best to explain it. So basically, crazy cat woman and goth woman combined together, and this is her house, essentially. This is like what I came up with, and I think it's really cool. The outside is a really unique shape, but I kind of love how it pulled off. I based it a bit off the Goth family's house, but I just put a bit of a twist on it. Because she's like kind of a combination of like a cat lady and a goth lady, I brought in a few brighter colours. So I didn't go for just black everywhere. I also brought in brown. So I feel like a brown sort of like a neutral vibe, but it's also a goth vibe. So I really wanted to try and get that combination of both sort of personalities. Because she's sort of the granny that has kind of a split personality, where she just loves her cat collecting, but she's also this dark granny that writes every day these big stories, and she's never got enough attention from these stories, but she's never got famous from them, but she really wants to try her best because she loves writing. And wow, it's just a really unique idea. So I hope you guys really enjoy this build, and I guess I will see you another time. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!